He was overweight, depressed, and rejected by 3 families in just 1 year. At only 5 years old, Buddy, a golden retriever mix with soulful brown eyes, was already labeled as lazy, untrainable, and too much work. He didn't bark for attention. He didn't jump with excitement. He just existed, slowly, silently. But behind the stillness was a heart full of pain and confusion. Every step he took was heavy. Every breath he drew was louder than it should have been. And every time someone passed him over, his spirit dimmed just a little more. Most people gave up on Buddy. They thought he was broken, beyond help, but they were wrong. This is the story of how, in just 30 days, a dog once forgotten by the world went from obese, inactive, and emotionally shut down to fit, focused, joyful, and alive again. Meet Buddy, a golden retriever mix rescued from a high-kill shelter just outside Atlanta. When he first arrived at the foster home, he was barely recognizable as the energetic, loving breed he belonged to. His belly sagged low to the ground. His coat had lost its shine. His breathing was short and fast, not from excitement, but from the sheer effort it took to move. At 92 pounds, Buddy was more than 30 pounds overweight for his size and frame. He struggled to stand up from the floor. He refused to climb stairs. Even lifting his head for a treat seemed exhausting. The first vet visit confirmed what his fosters feared: Stage 1 arthritis in his back legs, early signs of joint inflammation, severely poor gut health, elevated cholesterol levels, and dangerously low muscle tone. But worst of all was his demeanor. But he didn't make eye contact. He didn't respond to toys or belly rubs. It was as if he had learned that being ignored was safer than hoping for connection. His fosters knew this wasn't just a weight issue. This was emotional damage too. So they decided to start not just a diet, but a transformation. A full 30-day plan focused on food, movement, and, most importantly, hope. This video takes you inside that journey. From the small daily changes that made all the difference, to the emotional breakthroughs that turned Buddy from a passive pet into a proud, tail-wagging best friend. Whether you're here because your dog is struggling, or because you simply believe in second chances, welcome. Buddy's story might just change the way you think about pet fitness forever. Before the change could begin, it was important to understand how Buddy got this way. He wasn't always overweight. In fact, as a young pup on a rural farm, Buddy was playful, eager, and full of energy. But the farm wasn't the kind of place where dogs were given consistent care. They were fed scraps, they roamed unsupervised, and when they got hurt, they healed on their own. Or they didn't. At around 6 months old, Buddy was hit by a slow-moving farm vehicle. It wasn't serious, but it left him with a slight limp that never fully went away. The other dogs grew faster, ran farther, and got more attention. Buddy was quiet. He slept more. He kept to himself. He was eventually taken to a shelter when the farm downsized, and that was when his cycle of rejection began. His first adoption lasted 2 weeks. He's too slow, they said. Doesn't fetch, doesn't play. Returned. The second family kept him for 6 months. They loved him at first, but as he gained weight, their patience wore thin. Those who won't go on walks, he's boring. We're looking for a more active dog? Returned again. The third home tried to help. They really did. But without understanding his needs, they overfed him with treats and under-exercised him. They thought they were being kind. But kindness without knowledge became harm. By the time Buddy was back at the shelter for the 3rd time, he had gained nearly 35 pounds in under 2 years. And the damage was no longer just physical. He'd lost trust in people. He flinched when touched. He avoided eye contact. He rarely barked, never wagged. At one point, a shelter worker described him as frozen in spirit. But everything changed the day he met his foster mom, someone who saw past his size and into his soul. She didn't see a lazy dog. She saw a hurt dog, one who'd never had the chance to feel safe, let alone thrive. On the first night at her home, Buddy barely moved from the corner. He refused dinner. He slept through most of the day. And yet, when she softly whispered his name before bedtime, he lifted his head, just barely. It was the smallest gesture, but it was everything. It was a sign that deep down he was still in there, that given the right care, the right plan, and the right love, Buddy could come back. And that's where this story truly begins. Day 1, a bowl of real food, a quiet space, and a promise whispered gently into his ear. We're going to do this together. Transformation doesn't begin with a treadmill. It doesn't begin with fancy dog toys or boot camp workouts. It begins with understanding the dog in front of you, as they are. And for Buddy, that meant starting with food. Day 1, the reset. On the first day, Buddy's foster mom did something simple and powerful. She threw out every bag of low-grade kibble in the pantry. No more corn-based fillers. No more artificial dyes. No more mystery meat byproducts. Instead, she introduced real food, whole food, a gentle transition from empty calories to nourishment. His first meal was a soft blend of boiled chicken breast, sweet potatoes, and a spoonful of plain pumpkin puree. No salt, no seasoning, just real ingredients that were easy on his gut. At first, Buddy sniffed the bowl and walked away. But a few hours later, when the house was quiet and no one was looking, he ate every bite. Slowly. Carefully. For the first time in a long time, food didn't feel like a trap. It felt like kindness. Week 1, food as medicine. The first week was about gut healing and inflammation control. Instead of 2 big meals, Buddy was fed 4 small portions across the day. Example meals. Morning, ground turkey with steamed carrots and brown rice. Midday, plain yogurt plus blueberries plus a dash of turmeric. Evening, cooked salmon plus quinoa plus chopped spinach. Late snack, bone broth cube plus joint supplement. Real food, no treats, no processed biscuits. And slowly, Buddy began to feel full, not heavy. Movement, not exercise. Week 1 movement plan, 3 walks, 5 minutes each. That's it. No pressure, just consistent motion. And with each day, Buddy's steps grew steadier. Week 2, the body awakens. More energy, more interest. He started sniffing the yard, approaching for affection, and even barked once. Puzzle toys, slow feeders, and basic stretching activities were added. These weren't just workouts, they were mental healing. Supplements introduced. Glucosamine plus chondroitin, joint. Probiotics, gut. L-carnitine, metabolism. Coconut oil, skin plus energy. Week 3. Confidence grows. Buddy started initiating play, bringing his toy, sitting tall, following commands. His feeding reduced to twice a day with leaner proteins and added greens. His steps turned to trots. His tail wagged more often. Week 4, the final push. Buddy now greeted visitors, ran short distances, climbed stairs. His coat shone, his posture improved. He didn't need coaxing to walk, he wanted to move. And by day 30, he had transformed from the inside out. Buddy stood over the bowl, confused, curious. That night he ate half, by morning, all of it. Week 1, from still to curious. He lifted his head, wagged once. He stood up without being called. 2 pounds lighter, a lot more aware. He began to track his foster mom with his eyes. By day 6, he gently tugged the leash with excitement. Week 2, small steps, big wins. He explored the backyard. He stretched after naps. He walked farther, faster, with purpose. He jumped on the couch for the first time, and when he rested his head on her lap, it was a sign. I feel safe. Week 3, Buddy plays. He found a toy, pawed it, bit it, owned it. He started playing tug, started chasing leaves. He began to run, even if awkwardly. By the end of week 3, Buddy had shed almost 7 pounds, and every pound lost brought light back into his eyes. Day 21, the breakthrough. Buddy walked toward a stranger and leaned into their hand. Not fear, not hesitation, just trust. That evening, he won a game of tug-of-war, then danced around the yard like a champion. Week 4, life in his eyes. Buddy now lived with rhythm, with pride, with joy. He responded to his name, followed cues. He barked to play. He ran to the door. He started to believe in himself again. Day 30, the run. Buddy ran, full speed across the park trail. His leash loose, his stride strong. Not because he had to, but because he could. That was the finish line, and the beginning. 30 days, 1 dog, 1 journey. But he shed more than weight. He shed trauma, insecurity, stillness. He gained strength, confidence, connection. Before versus after. Before, 92.1 pounds. Lethargic, withdrawn, bloated. No response to affection. Slouched, avoided eye contact. And after, 83 pounds. Energetic, alert, wagging. Slept deeply, moved proudly. Motherhood, confident posture and joyful eyes. What helped most? 1. Real food. Oh, no junk, no guesswork. Whole ingredients only. 2. Gentle movement. Oh, walks, puzzles, enrichment over exercise. 3. Daily routine. Oh, predictable, consistent, comforting. 4. Intentional support. Oh, gut health, joint care, metabolic boost. 5. Emotional patience. No rushing, no yelling, just love and time. Takeaways for every dog parent. Feed with purpose. Walk with awareness. Speak with softness. Reward with presence, not just treats. Buddy didn't just get fit, he got free. Final words. If you're watching this and your dog is struggling, please remember, they don't need perfect, they need present. Start small, stay steady, believe in them. Because every dog, just like Buddy, deserves a second chance. And sometimes that second chance starts with a bowl of real food.